his microphone.
So on, if you don't mind, if you would mute your microphone. A lot of people are getting feedback. And so if you would mute your microphones. Thank you. We'll start in just a few minutes.
My mind, that they are like
our net.
A lot of people are driving. I don't know what. Unmuted.
Ready when you are, Joey. I think. We'll see. Time will tell. Good morning. Welcome to a new way of doing the end of the year celebration. Glad that we have right now 269 participants online, and thank you for logging on and being a part. I will tell you that from stand each year at this time, I really miss seeing you, and that's one part I can't have, but we're all having to adjust to different ways right now. So, but as always, I want to thank you for everything, especially this year, and we're going to talk about some of the things that have happened here, specifically at the end during this time. But before we get started, let's go to the Lord in prayer and thank Him for all He did for us. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day. Lord God, I thank you for the people that work with me, for our students, Father, from our certified staff, our administrators, our teacher assistants, all the folks that transportation staff and maintenance staff and ladies in the office and those that clean our buildings. Father, I just, for each and every position we have, Father, I thank you for those. I thank you for making that their calling to be a part of their lives and to help them as they grow up. Father, I feel like I'm one of the most people in the world to work with those folks I work with And I thank you for them. Father, as we have gone through, a different time, we praise you and thank you for the strength that you've given us, for the wisdom to make good decisions for our students and our families. Father, you for all the people that pitched in and did whatever was necessary to be important in the lives of our children. And Father, we praise you and thank you for your son, Jesus. And we pray that you would bless this end of year celebration today of celebrating our teachers, and our staff, our years of service, our retirees. And I pray as we go into next week, I pray that you would bless the graduation program we have planned for our seniors. That will be a very special event. Father, again, we thank you and praise you. We ask these things in your name. Amen. Good morning again, everybody. You know, I told Mr. Chaffin the other day, I said, I'm going to feel a little bit like Sheldon Cooper on The Big Bang, because I've never done this before, where I just talked to a camera. So just so we'll kind of add that in there, we can say, hello, the fun with flags. Not really, I just wanted to lighten the mood a little bit. Okay, now, being serious. You know, and you've heard me say this many, many times, and you say it many, many more. There's certain things I'm going to talk to you about every year at the beginning, and some of those same things I'm going to talk to you about at the end of it. And I will tell you that this part will never change for me, that this has been my mission as an educator. And that is, you've heard me talk or say it before and quote it many times. Verse 22:6 tells us, train up a child in the way he should go. And even when he's old, he will not depart from it. What we do, we train up those children in the way they should go. And I'm very thankful for each of you that is a part of that. You know, we talk about it all the time. We talk about once a lion, always a lion. And that one team, one family. And I can tell you that has never been more true than the last night. With the way we have come together to provide for our kids and our families. And all of you have been a part of that. And I'm thankful and blessed to be a part of that team. You know, it takes all of us, like we talk, working together to do what needs to be done to have a successful school and to do what's right for our kids. And you folks do it every single day. You've heard me talk about we're all small cogs in a big wheel, and that's what it is. It takes all of us to make that big wheel turn. And again, talk about the evidence of that. Very clear these last 9 weeks. You've also each year referred to, with a Larry the Cable Guy twist to it, about there's 3 phases in a school day. You have to get them here, you got to get them fed, and you got to get them home. That changed when COVID-19 came. It changed to keep them home, keep them fed, give them their lessons, and check on them often. And we did that very, 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 very well. I just want to take a moment. I try not to miss anybody, and I'm going to miss the time that we cheer for each other. But there's so many people it takes. Our child nutrition department, what a job they have done. Our custodians, folks in the transportation, again, transportation, how they have stepped up. Maintenance department, our ladies in the office, our secretaries, our teacher assistants, our nurses, technology staff, our teachers, counselors, our administrators, and our central office staff. Thank you for all of you. Again, it takes so many to make this work for our kids. And I'm very appreciative of that and want you to know that very, very much. This time, we're going to part of our slide show where we recognize the years of service. So, would you share that with us, please? Thank you all for your years of service. Thank you so much. We're coming to a time now in the program where we recognize our retirees. This year we have 6. And I believe I added it up last night, and that you take these 6 and you add all their years together. With these 6 individuals, there's 243 years of experience. You can't replace that. You can't buy that. And I will tell you, our retirees are sitting in front of me. That's my audience today. I'm glad I have some audience in front of me. But they are sitting here in their rockers. And by the way, when you go to Lowe's, say thank you. They help us buy these for our retirees each year. We want to say thank you to them. But what a great group, and what a loss this will be for our students. There will be others that come behind and take that for you. But it is so hard to replace the experience and the work that you do each day. So we're going to start this morning with our first retiree, and that is Miss Nita Anteau. And Ms. Anteau has her bachelor's degree from Southeastern Oklahoma State University and her master's degree in special ed from Southeastern Oklahoma State University. She has been teaching 12 years in Durant. Prior to that, she was in Caddo for 30 years. So she has a total years experience of 42 years. Ms. Anteau has provided something that she asked me to read. This is from Nita Anteau. It is with a grateful heart and a million thanks I am retiring. It's an honor and a privilege to have been part of this Lion family for the past 12 years. Teaching in this system has helped to renew my faith and pride in this wonderful profession. I began teaching 42 years ago. My goal was just to make a difference. I wanted each child to feel special, feel smart, and to love learning. Most of all, I wanted them to know they were loved. Somewhere along that journey, teaching became work. It became a job. No matter how deep your passion for something, without support, encouragement, and appreciation, it becomes very hard to remain optimistic and invested, even when it is your passion. So thank you, Durant Schools, for rescuing me from my job and helping to restore my passion for this wonderful profession. Thank you for making me feel special and valued each day and every day. Thank you for caring about my opinions and for giving me the tools and opportunities to always continue learning. And most of all, thank you for those amazing individuals at DIS who have become my family and will be forever in my heart forever. As I retire to ranching, I can say I'm not leaving a job. I'm leaving one God-given privilege for another. How fortunate am I? I will proudly say that I was part of a team that is making an incredible difference. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Nita Anteau, thank you so much for your service. Our next retiree, Ms. Nita Newton. Ms. Newton got her bachelor's degree from Southeastern Oklahoma State University in mathematics education, and her master's degree also from Southeastern Oklahoma State University in mathematics. She has taught anywhere from Algebra 1 through AP Calculus. She has total years experience of 31 years all here in Durant Schools. And Ms. Newton has been an advocate and just a champion in the world of AP mathematics, advanced placement mathematics, and has taught that for many years, even before she taught the AP calculus and all the higher level math. She taught the foundations that got kids ready for those courses earlier than that when she first started teaching. Miss Newton, Miss Newton, you could always look up at the high school in the evening and everybody else would be gone and Miss Newton would still be there. She always has a great work ethic and did everything she could to prepare for the kids. Miss Newton, we thank you so much for your 31 years of service. Thank you, Miss Newton. Our next retiree is Coach Ray Richards. Coach Richards has had a total years experience of 37, 5 of those are here in the Durant ISD. Coach Richards got his bachelor's degree in PE and health from Northern Michigan University and his master's of education, University of Louisiana Monroe. He has been a coach and teacher at Loyola High School in Shreveport, Louisiana. He's been a grad assistant at University of Louisiana, teacher and coach at Irving High School in Texas, grad assistant in football at Texas Tech. He was at Southeastern for 10 years, assistant football coach, University of Louisiana, assistant football coach for 2, Southwest Baptist University head football coach for 4, Southeastern Oklahoma State University head coach for 9, and then finished his career here with us in Durant for 5 years. Coach Richard has also given me something to read on his behalf. Coach Richard says, I'd like to thank Durant for hiring me 5 years ago at DIS and allowing me to work in the school district. Coach, probably the other way around. Thank you for being a part. The administrative teachers in our school district are the best. They are professionals whose top priority is the welfare of our students. My 3 daughters all went through Durant schools and received a great education with teachers who cared about them and were good role models to emulate. My wife and I appreciate you all. Because of the coaches, this has been one of the best places that I've ever had the privilege to work. Fun people who have high moral character and truly love athletes that they coach. The friendships that have been developed will last a lifetime. I will truly miss not being here working with them on a daily basis. They are like a band of brothers to me. I believe in our saying, one team, one family. Line, always line. May God bless you all. And thank you, Ray Richards. Thank you, Coach. Our next retiree is Miss Rachel Davis. Miss Davis has total years experience of 32, 29 of which were here in the Durant Public School. And she got her Bachelor's of Arts degree in elementary education from Oklahoma Baptist University and her master's from Southeastern Oklahoma State University. And Miss Davis is going to be our first speaker. She's going to come share with us.
Good morning. You know, everyone has a story, and every story is a journey, and this is mine. I just this morning thought, I'm going to call this the legacy of 1895. I was born as a daughter of a bivocational pastor who was born in 1895 with little monetary means and only 3 years of formal schooling. My mother, if you do the numbers, was much younger than my father. She barely graduated high school due to caring for her mother. Yet they saw the need for education, and God gave them wisdom in raising me to become the teacher I've been. This is where I learned to live my life based on principles and to be intentional in living out those principles. They taught me to be intentional in everything I did. How you serve the Lord, how you parent your children, how you perform your job, how you love and serve others. They taught me it's important to know who you are, where you came from, and where you're going. Maybe this is why much of my story is intertwined with my own family. My career has truly, as many of you know, has truly been a family affair, from a helpful husband to children who have no choice to help. Teaching for 32 years is not uncommon. However, after 4 years, I stopped teaching and stayed home for 18 years to raise a son and 2 sets of twin girls. I will never regret this decision. By the time I returned to teaching, children were old enough to help me with coloring, cutting, gluing, copying, carrying, moving furniture, dusting, whatever, in my classroom, as well as home. So my teaching journey started in July of 1970 when my husband and I moved to Durant for him to finish his degree at Southeastern. And here's where my God-orchestrated teaching story begins. Who would believe that attending one of the smallest churches in town would provide 2 of the 3 people who would influence my being hired for my first teaching job? One was the song leader at the small church. He happened to be the Durant Junior High School choir teacher. He was drafted in January 71, providing the job opening. The second was a lady who taught at the high school and had known my parents in Curtin County. The third was a man who had been my high school principal and was then a sales rep for Thompson's bookstore and spent lots of time drinking coffee with Mr. Rainwater, Durant's superintendent. All put in a good word for me, and I was hired. And my, oh my, did I know what I was doing? Not by any stretch of the imagination. I had a K-8 elementary certificate with a music emphasis. And in those days, that just meant that I could be asked to teach anything to the 8th grade, and I did. Junior high school became Durant Middle School, and I taught music, geography, 6th grade language arts, and assisted with girls' PE classes. During those years, teaching was my job. In January 1995, I left my job of 4 years to have our first child, a son. As you can imagine, it was tight, and I worked a few odd jobs. Then in October of 79, I had twin girls. Things got tighter. And it was during this time that a lady called and asked me to start a nursery school where children could come for a few hours of learning time. I listened to her. I liked the idea. She needed a babysitter, and I opened the Mother Goose Nursery School in 1983, and I became hooked on early learning. From then until 1991, I taught the preschool for 5 years, took classes to become certified in early childhood, and had another set of twin girls. When they went to kindergarten, I began substitute teaching, and then in 1992, after being out of the public school system here in Durant for 18 years, I was hired to teach in Durant's first early childhood program. It was called a wraparound program between public schools and 5 Head Start. My classroom was housed in the old election board building on North 16th. I was considered a part of Northwest Heights. Alvy Nelson was my principal. He would come to check on me and say, "Rachel, I don't have any idea what you're doing, but if you need anything, just call me." And side note on that, working with Head Start was a different experience. I got in trouble one time because the offices for Head Start were in the front of that white building, and we had watermelon for snack that day. And the Head Start coordinators were extremely upset with me, and I had nothing. Our food came from the Senior Citizen Center next door. I had nothing to do with the menu. And I went to admin and told that story over and over. He thought it was so ridiculous that I was in trouble for that. In 1994-95, I was excited from North 16th to the Northwest Heights campus into the first portable building. In the fall of 96, the 4-year-old program became early childhood under the supervision of the Durant Public Schools only. We were no longer Head Start. In October, Dr. English allowed me to implement and teach a 3-year-old early intervention grant program called Readiness 2000, hence the second portable building at Northwest Heights. After that grant ran its course, I returned to the 4-year-old program, which had then become age kindergarten. At the beginning of the 2002-2003 school year, I moved into a new classroom in the building at Northwest Heights. Our name seemed to be a problem during this time. Sometimes we were early childhood, sometimes early age kindergarten. However, by 2009, the program had become commonly known as pre-K as it is today. But there was one last chapter for me. In 2017-18, when all of pre-K was moved to Robert E. Lee, I wanted to stay in the Northwest Heights environment and attempt to teach the newer concept of kindergarten with an early childhood mindset. Thanks to Mr. Meredith, I was allowed to do that. During the last 20 years of teaching 4-year-olds, I've done other teaching. In 1999, I taught adjunct classes in early childhood at Southeastern. I became a consultant educator teaching classes for daycare workers through OU's Center for Early Childhood Professional Development and Southeastern's Continuing Ed program. I was certified and did evaluations for daycares in the Southeastern Oklahoma region. But the most rewarding extracurricular job I ever had was as parent educator Durant, Oklahoma, the Durant's Oklahoma Parents as Teachers program. It was birth to 3 at-home program with the goal of strengthening the capacity of parents to be effective first teachers. I did this for 12 years. Since 1992, I've been blessed to do what I love most, and that is to teach young children and work with their parents. So to teachers of young children, I would say we do our children a disservice when we teach them only the curriculum. We desperately need to get back to teaching the whole child. It does include academics, but it also means that we're teaching character traits, life skills, work with their parents. It may mean that you teach that little boy to pee on the playground instead of taking him to the principal because he did. It may mean we teach that child to not hit or not kick instead of taking them to the principal. And with their parents, we need to practice our motto, one team, one family. It is so important that the whole child that we connect with their parents. To teachers of older children, I would say, please give your early childhood teachers your support. Each year, we find bigger gaps in our students' family units, and I cannot imagine where you might be if no one was laying the foundation stones of learning. Each student's success depends on his or her foundation, but you have the task of helping them continue to learn who they are and where they are going. In the beginning of my early childhood career, people would ask what I taught. Many times when I said 4-year-old, I would say, oh, the tone seemed to imply that I wasn't quite a real teacher. Sometimes I was teased. One teacher friend said that before long you'll be going to the hospital to get them, as if I was doing something I should not do. And I know much of the thing has changed in the last several years, but I would be the first to tell you that a parent is indeed a child's first and most important teacher. In fact, I've always said that if all parents worked with their children, I wouldn't have this career. But you and I know that this is not the case. So my follow-up statement has always been, if someone needs to do it, I want it to be me. And for the last 28 years, it has been. And I want to thank Durant Public Schools, the superintendents I've had, the principals I've had, who've allowed me to practice my profession, even when they themselves wondered what I was doing. Most of all, I want to thank my Heavenly Father for helping me and allowing me to live this story. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Our next retiree is Juanita Daniel. And Juanita has taught for 39 years. She has both a bachelor's and a master's from Southeastern Oklahoma State University. And she has, all of her 39 years have been here in the Durant. And Daniel is going to share with us. And so we're going to ask her to come up now and share.
Started this, I wasn't sure what I needed to say, what I'm supposed to say. So I told Wayne that he might have to stand by me because it wasn't an option to opt out of not doing this, because there's too many of you in the online audience that were my students, and you were not allowed to opt out of a speaking assignment. So it came back to bite me. Not sure what I needed to say or what I'm supposed to say, but teaching has been a growing process that I have loved. Each administrator, sorry.
This was great. I wrote it for you.
What did I? Each administrator, each coworker, and each student has had a part in helping me grow and stretch into the educator person that I have become in my 39 years at Durant. My first 13 years out, 8th grade, I learned right alongside with the students. I also found out I was a little naive in the beginning. Since the time I have had the opportunity to teach some of those first students' children, I consider that an honor and a blessing. My boss now, Mr. McCoy, is one of those 8th graders. I learned that teaching is a partnership with my students, their parents, the administrators, and my coworkers, my second family. I am taking this chance to tell you all, thank you. Administrators, thank you for challenging me to be better each day, giving me opportunities that force me out of my comfort zone. Thank you, Mr. Meredith, for providing me my favorite growing experience, being in the start of the Study Skills program, set up for all of our 6th graders. It was one of the best things that we did for our kids. Teachers, thank you for listening to my goofy ideas, for helping me see new ways to do things and look at things, for graciously helping the dog learn new tricks, for loving me through personal losses, and for lots of laughter. Thanks so much, Bun. For educating, thank you all of you for educating and loving my sons that went through this system. Students, thank you for putting up with my days. You each took a piece of my heart with you and left me a better person for having had you in my room. Parents, thank you for allowing me to teach your children. I pray that they learned as much from me as I did from them. Thank you for your cooperation when dealing with an issue, and luckily there weren't many of them. There are not enough words to let you know how much you all mean to me. I love and appreciate all of you, but after 39 years on the job, it is time to take my boys and go home. I will still be around. My grandbabies are growing up and they now live in Durant, right across the street from me. And I need to take time to enjoy them, to be one of their first teachers. DIS, you always have my heart. Remember when we opened DIS, we spent time bonding. We haven't bonded, we stick together like glue. And as we changed administrators, someone told Mr. Scott, don't try to fix us, we aren't broken. He tried anyway. He moved me to 5th grade. Not a happy place for me, but ended up with a perfect group that loved me through my life. DIS, you are my family. So keep loving and stretching the minds of your students. For some, you are their rock. Checking on and encouraging that new teacher, leave them out there. Continue to do what you've been called to do. You are important. Keep making Durant a great place. Thank you.
Thank you, Juanita. Our last, not least, retiree, Mr. John Williamson. John earned his bachelor's degree from Baylor University and his master's degree from East Texas State University in Commerce. His total years experience are 42 years. He spent a year in Harmony and Killeen, 1 each, 4 in Kaufman, Texas, 1 in South Grand Prairie, 1 in Athens, Texas, 1 and 3 in Rockwell. Both as a teacher coaching some and assistant principal in others. And then he was a teacher coach in Sherman for 11 years and Van Alstyne high school principal and coach for 7 years. And John has asked to speak. as well. So John, please come share with us.
If you've ever doubted the wisdom of Dwayne Meredith to have me go last, should clinch it for you. I very rarely in my careers not know what to say in a situation. But at this point, my audience, I have a couple pretty sure things about you. One is that during some part of this presentation, you already figured out how many more years you have until you can retire. And probably that figure is also in your early retirement. The second thing is you've probably not that much interested in the names of my grandchildren and what I'm going to do after this is over. So because of that, I thought I'd just spend the next hour or so just giving you some reflections of what I've learned in the 32 years. I need to stop there. I really do. Talk to my middle school peeps real quick. Guys, that hour thing, that was a joke. I know that you're used to me speaking that long every time you hear me. And, you know, you don't worry. I can get this done in 45. I know it. So just relax, okay? I love you guys. So relax. The book of Ecclesiastes. In chapter 5, it says this. When a person has the ability to be happy in their toil, this is a gift from God. And I like the next verse even more. It says this. They seldom reflect on the days of their life because God keeps them occupied with the gladness of heart. So I just want to talk a little bit about the toil, the 42 years of education, and why I feel like it's been a gift from God for me. You know, we kind of take a little bit an education, even in some speeches I've heard from retirees, taking a shot. But I don't know how you can not understand that in this business, when the main goal, and you've heard it from all the retirees, is kids and helping people, how that can't be a great vocation. How can you not be blessed in that? And as I reflect back on my 42 years, that's what I really remember about it. You know, the people that have invested in me, that have made me and improved me to where I am now. And, you know, education takes a little hit sometimes. You know, they talk to us, and you may have heard about compensation for education. But, you know, in the 42 years, I've never been in a school district that went bankrupt. I got a paycheck every time. And, you know, this idea about we don't really get credit for what we do, that people don't recognize that. Well, you know, the greatest teacher ever alive healed 10 lepers, okay? And only one of those came back to even say anything. And if the Savior of the world only gets 10%, I'm not really sure what we as educators really should expect our percentage to be. Although I suspect in the last 6 or 7 weeks, our percentage is going up, just between me and you. But one of the real gifts of this time for me has been the fact that my family has been a part of it. My wife taught many years on the same campus, and many years in the same districts that I was in. I apologize to Dwayne for having to read all those districts. That cut out of my time a little bit what I was going to get. But, and my children, it afforded me the opportunity to be in the lives of my children. Unfortunately for them, they had the trio of tribulation. Not only was I their father, but I was also their high school principal and their high school basketball coach. Yeah, the trio of tribulation. Can you imagine being yelled at three different ways? But both my daughter and son came through it okay. In fact, my daughter's a doctor of physical therapy, and my son is a minister. He just got his MD. And smarter people than me, better parents than me. And really, about the only thing I taught them is to make sure that you marry your pay grade. And they both did that. And so it has been a really great ride in this education. And speaking of all those districts I've been in, I was climbing up the coaching ladder. And you heard a lot of those schools in doing that. In fact, I coached at every classification there is and some that aren't. And in that time, I had the experience of being in many school districts. And I'm just going to tell you, all school districts I've been in, there's good and bad. But if you're a person listening to my voice now and you've never been in any other school district than Durant, then let me let you in on a couple of things. First of all, you already know how this district is on the edge of technology, on the edge of pushing education, our family atmosphere, and just got an inkling today of the kind of people just from what you've heard and all that. And this deal, I mean, I don't know about y'all. I mean, in my 30 years before I got to Durant, Christmas bonus. I mean, I remember one time I got a turkey. It was kind of frozen because I think it'd been back at the principal's truck for 3 days. And then one time I do remember that I got a ham. I think it was supposed to be honey baked, but they just stapled it on the side, the little packet. So I'm not really sure. Well, my point here is that Christmas bonus and public education, those two don't go together. Yet in the district that I currently work in, I mean, there's money in my bank account without the taxes taken out of it. I mean, you may not get that if you've never been anywhere but Durant. The clincher for me in this district, and I hope you know this if you've worked here, is that there's a group of people, the leaders of this district, meet weekly to pray. And take a list of people. And this is not thank you, God. Amen. I've seen people weep as they pray for individuals in this district. Let me tell you what that means. That means that decisions in this district made for ego are not made to build a legacy or a resume. That means that from the leadership, decisions are made with God's direction and what's best for kids. And if you need any further proof that I feel like this is the best district I've ever worked in, I have commuted to get to this district 250,000 miles. That's not an exaggeration. I have my work right here. I'm Miss Newton to check it if you need to. I've done my math. 250,000 miles to come to this district. And I just want to give a shout out to two of those leaders of this district. 12 years ago, Chaffin chose me as his assistant principal. And 3 years ago, Dwayne Meredith chose me to be the principal at the middle school. Now, I don't know how much faith it takes to hire me when you don't know me, or how much faith it takes to hire me when you do know me. But I know it's more than a mustard seed. And so I know those two men are authority over me. But when I think of those two men, I think of more brothers in Christ. That's the kind of district I want to work in. And I wanted you to know about that. My only regret in working in this district has been the fact that you get to know my wife, Jo. Jo, when we were coaching, was an example of what a coach's wife really should be. And since I've been in administration, been an example of what an administrator's wife should be. And because you don't know Jo, you know that she's a prayer warrior. So because she's been praying for me, she's been praying for you. And I wanted you to know that. In fact, she's told me many times that I'm the reason that her prayer life is so good. Then I got to thinking about what that meant. Sure that I'll get that straight. I'll let you know. Somebody's prayer life getting sure exactly what that means. The one thing that I would say to finish what I did say is that as an educator in the last 40 years, you and I both know this, that we had many, many decisions that we had to make. Many. And it took me a little while to learn this. I believe in accountability, high expectations. So early in my career, that made me a person that really looked at things black and white. But over a period of years, God instilled into me the idea that if I was going to err, I needed to err on the side of grace. Now, so when I looked at a kid in my class that slept through there, instead of considering that kid lazy, I started looking at him as maybe that kid that had to sleep on the couch last night, because that's his bedroom. Or the kid that was angry when he got to my class. Maybe the kid whose dad yelled at him, or his dad wasn't even there. Or the girl that, was loud and always causing interruptions, and me that as a young lady thought that was the only way she could get anybody. Then as I work with adults, and I worked with some who were having a hard day. Instead of looking at that any other way, I began looking at them as maybe they were having a time at home, maybe a wayward kid, maybe a situation that's tough, maybe a spouse. There was a strained relationship. My Sunday school teacher taught me that error of grace really meant to look at people like Jesus looked at them. See people as Jesus sees you. I don't know that there's any other way that I can put that in this grace and what it means. Unmerited favor. Unmerited. So if I was going to leave you anything about my 42 years, I would leave you with that. And by the way, see Joe White, Kate Williamson, Rose Williamson, Axel Henson, White. That's my grandkids. So if you can't buy me a church on the golf course, I'll be with them. And as I used to tell my math class, I put the graph on the board and all the points connected. Once a line, always a line. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Davis, Miss Newton, Miss Daniel, Miss Anteau, and Coach. Thank you all for your 243 years of experience. Thank you so much. All right. I want to talk a little bit about the last 9 weeks. I don't think we can leave without doing that. And there are so many people to say thank you to. I really don't know how to begin. As we started meeting over here at the central office and developing plans, not only with people in the central office, but our building administrators, and developing a plan that works best for us and our kids. You know, we really, it was amazing how it all came together. It wasn't orchestrated by me. We'd have been in trouble. You know, God had a plan, and he put that plan to work. He may have used us in that plan, but he put that plan to work. And you know, through the distance learning, as we started, you know, there was no new learning. It was just making sure we knew what had been taught. But we wanted one of the criteria was, in my mind, is we need to make sure that our kids and our family know how much we care about them, know how much we love them. And that's why part of the plan is making those contacts with our kids and our families, checking on them and making sure they were okay. And there's going to be more than the two positive takeaways from this unprecedented time. And the first one, we didn't have to do a whole lot, because with kids home every day, parents either out of work or having to stay home to care for the children, as John said, the stock, the respect, the profession of educators is going to skyrocket higher than it's been because of the pandemic and because we have to stay home. Okay? The other thing they're going to remember, the second positive takeaway, is, you know, those folks really cared about us. We weren't getting lip service from them. They were calling and checking on us a lot, weekly. Okay? Matter of fact, so much, some people said, you don't have to call them. Some people said, just text me. Okay? And others said, send me an email. And others said, if we need you, we'll call you. Okay? But those real two positive takeaways are going to come from this. Let's talk about what we accomplished during the last 9 weeks. During spring break, everything changed. I wanted to say we got busy, but we really just got busy. Okay? Because we've always been busy, working for the best interest for our kids. Plans were being made to serve meals to our children. And a big shout out to Billy Wittenberg and David Wagner. Huge. The process of all this was amazing. Not just the food, but more than that. We started feeding kids Monday, March 23rd, with your help, with teachers volunteering, with our teacher assistants volunteering, our secretaries. All of us stepped up and volunteered. We started feeding on March the 23rd and delivering meals to our students. And as of today, we delivered 96,887 meals to our kids. We will surpass the 100,000 mark on Monday. So we kept our kids fed. And to add to that, know this, we will continue to feed our kids. Okay? We have from 3 meals a day to 2 once we get to the 22nd. Okay? But they'll still get 10 meals a week. And by the way, if you want to still volunteer for that, we're going to need help. Okay? But know that. Then there were 2 weeks of planning that went on. Basically, they said buildings. We didn't follow that very well over here. although we did start learning a new term where Zoom became part of our vocabulary. Okay? And again, the logistical planning, design of a website, how to deliver the paper packets, how do you package paper packets the best way, most efficient way? How do you find it out the time? When do these need to be delivered? How are we going to do that and maintain good health and safety for everyone? Creation of the distance learning dashboard. We provided virtual lessons. We were delivering and handing out meals as we talked about, calling and checking on our students and their families weekly, if not more. We were reading books to our students on Facebook. We were gathering and packaging our students' personal items and supplies and returning them via curbside service. We collected Chromebooks, band instruments, athletic equipment, and materials. We initiated an online enrollment process, which usually and typically takes 6 months to a year, and we did it in weeks under the guidance of Andy Hudson, Larry Bennett, Linda Knox. We provided text all day and most of the night from our tech staff. We took time to tell and show our school, family, and community how much we appreciated it. A big example of that. The first day we went up and cheered on our transportation department and our food service, leaving with the food, with the meals. Unbeknownst to us, we had one of our coaches at the middle school, Coach Love, who's filming this whole process. And then he goes beyond that, and he edits it and puts some music to it. And most of you probably saw it on our website. If you didn't, go take a look. And the song was about, how do I thank you? Don't know who wrote it. Touch. Last night, we handed out caps and gowns to our seniors. And something special for them. So we hope next Thursday night is even more special. We handed out caps and gowns. We had our teachers from all levels on the sidewalk, grass, maintaining 6 feet apart, cheering them on, seeing the children they taught in elementary school, telling them congratulations. There wasn't a frown in any call. We have a community, with an amazing community, that has come together by a very special graduation ceremony. Our kids are going to remember a long, long time. Okay? Let me tell you about what we're doing there if you don't know. Okay? Let me work and the people that have been involved to make that happen. The city of Durant, emergency management, the police department, police chief Hauser, Chief Jones, James Dalton, James Dean, city manager. It goes on and on. Chief Jones. I'm sure there's going to be sheriff's department involved. There's going to be at the end of it, there's going to be highway patrol involved. But all the things it took to put this together, we have so many people. The Chamber of Commerce is another. Everybody is pitched in to do something special. So you'll know what's happening next Thursday at 4:00 p.m. On our website, you can go to our TV channel. You can go to First Baptist Church TV channel. You can go to KOBC live stream. You can go to First Baptist Church live stream. There are 5 different outlets you can view this on. Okay. And the graduation ceremony will start at 4:00 p.m. next Thursday. That will be our honored graduates giving their speeches. That's already been pre-recorded and already set in place. And then it's going to take about 40 or 30, 35 minutes. Then after that, we'll take a break. And it's graduates will be on the passenger side front seat. They're going to put their cap and gown on. They're get in their car, their trucks. I would be really surprised if we don't see a stretch somewhere to put as many family members as they can. And I understand. But their families are going to be able to be a part of this up close and personal. That's when they're going to line up for the parade of graduates. Again, back to all people that helped us put this together. We're going to have a parade starting on 12th in May. We're going to head east all the way to First Street. We're going to turn and we're going to go up First Street all the way to Durant. End up at the high school, same place where they picked up the caps and gowns. Then we're going to go to Phase 3. Again, KBC, huge part of this. The audio will all be here. 106.3 KOBC will be our audio system for the parade, for the graduation itself. Okay? So the last phase is when their names are called with their radios tuned to 106.3. Then that car will proceed forward where we will hand off the diploma cup. And after that, they get their picture. And after that, they will exit. We'll do that for 218. So, that being said, out and support these kids during the parade. No room for anybody at the high school. It's just going to be the graduates and their families in the car. But come and support these kids and these families. Make this a night of graduation nobody else ever had. To me, it's going to be sweeter than traditional. And they'll definitely remember it. At the end of it all, the kids come in June to actually pick up a diploma with the help of our technology department. Skills of Joey Gosnett, for sure. There's going to be a video that we give the kids that include last night's cap and gown pickup, that include the senior slides, that include the honor graduate speeches, that include the parade, and that finish with the handing of the diploma cup. Something they'll have. So come and support our kids next Thursday night. Again, the parade starts at 6:30 on the dot. You can find a place to park. Please stay in your car. If you can't stay in your car, please maintain social distancing. You're supposed to. We need to be modeling that. But make this a very special, special day. Especially ours. You know, our school board approved and adopted a new mission statement this school year. It says reaching every student every day, every way. On April 3rd, I sent you an email about our plan for distance learning and what the expectations were. I read a book written by Dr. Brad Johnson that says what schools don't teach. I told you I thought we might need to use some of his thoughts as our guiding principles as we begin to work with our students and their families during these very limited times. Those thoughts were these: relationships before grace before grace, patience before programs and love before lessons. And I will tell you, we have accomplished that mission with flying colors. And I thank you for that. Again, it took everybody. I also told you that we had an opportunity as a Lion family to shine brighter than before in the lives of our community, our families. I can tell you without hesitation or reservation, we have bright and shining light during these last 9 months. In Durant, Oklahoma, we tell people, once a Lion, always a Lion. And that we are one team and one family. This has never been more true and more evident than now. Thank you so much for everything. And lastly, you can't leave school without a summer assignment, without homework. Now, these 6 people in front of me, they can't. Okay? But your summer assignment, as always, are to get some rest, to rest, to recharge, and most importantly, I'm asking you to pray. Pray for each other, pray for our school, pray for our community, our state, and our nation. Pray that we're able to start school in a traditional fashion as we return to the fall. I told you many times, I'll tell you again. You are the very best status has to offer. Thank you for all you do for our children and our community. And have a great summer. Soon, hope to see you Thursday. Have a good one.